Parag Parikh Financial Advisory Services, we were amongst the first ones in India to start up PMS. Mr. Parag Parikh, who was the founder of the group, was a pioneer in terms of bringing value investing to India. He was also a staunch believer of global diversification.
What exactly is Nasdaq 100?
So everything that you could think of, semiconductors, cloud, innovative pharma companies and all of those are part of the Nasdaq 100 index. If anybody wanted to invest in India, they would typically go through a route like Singapore or Mauritius.
And that is where the GiftCity comes into picture for Indian residents.
India as a country is exposed to country-specific risk. Our currency depreciating, that is one. But other than that, even specific risk like demonetization or political events in
or
India.
Or the tariffs which were imposed on us. Good morning all and welcome to our podcast Unboxing GiftCity. Here we discuss events, products, news and what's happening in GiftCity, Gandhinagar, Gujarat. Today we are diving into global investment opportunities which are available there in GiftCity for Indian investors under LRS. As you all are aware, the Indian investors can remit up to $250,000 under LRS scheme of RBI to invest globally. So today joining us is Nirmal Bari, who is the Director and Principal Officer at Parag Parikh Alternate Asset Manager, IFSC Private Limited. Thank you for joining us, Nirmal.
Thank you, Nitin. Thanks for having me on the show, and I'm really excited about to talk about GiftCity and what PPFAS Gift is looking to build out of there for resident as well as non-resident investors.
And today we are detailing Parag Parikh Nasdaq 100 retail fund available for Indian investors. So Nirmal, my first question to you is that let's start with basics. What exactly is GiftCity? If you can just briefly introduce GiftCity to my audience and why it is gaining so much of attention, not only from NRIs, but also from Indian investors. What benefits does it actually offers to Indian resident investors?
Sure. A very good question. So if you look at before GiftCity, if anybody wanted to invest in India, they would typically go through a route like Singapore or Mauritius, and even resident Indians would either have to invest through the mutual funds in India or they would look at the very complicated mechanisms of investing outside. GiftCity is technically simplifies all of this. So GiftCity, the Gujarat International Financial Tech City, as it is called, is regulated by a single regulator, IFSC,
yes,
with globally benchmarked regulations against the best of the likes of Singapore and Dubai, DIFC and all. And it provides a very a regulated platform for not just NRI investors to invest in India, but also resident Indian investors, and within that, not just HNIs, but also regular small ticket size investors to come and benefit out of global diversification. So in the last couple of years, with the regulations that have come out around IFSC's clarifications that have come out around retail funds, the launch of retail funds have actually expedited the interest that Indian resident Indians have in investing through GiftCity using their LRS or the OPI route.
Yeah, and we should also mention that all these retail funds are pocket friendly also.
Yeah,
not like $150,000 which is required for AF and $75,000 which is required for PMS investment. The second good point is that all these investments are in dollars. So if any investor wants to create a USD asset base, then all these retail funds are handy. But why Indian investors should consider global investing? I mean, what are the benefits of global investing? If you could just brief us.
So there are three things when someone is looking at global investing perspective. The first thing is risk diversification. Obviously, India as a country is exposed to country-specific risk. Our currency keeps depreciating, that is one. But other than that, even specific risk like demonetization or political events in India.
Or the tariffs which were imposed on us recently.
The tariffs which were imposed on us. All of this impacts India and the Indian markets only, but they do not have a similar impact on global markets. So that is one. Second is, if you are looking at uh, the kind of consumption that we are doing, more and more of our consumption is also going global. So the mobile phones that we use, the laptops, the devices that we use, all of those are may be manufactured in India, but the brands are definitely outside. So when we are when our consumption is going global, it makes sense for us to also have our investments global, so that
Yes.
we benefit out of that same consumption that
Yeah.
we. And then the third one is that all the emerging trends that you would look at,
The new themes, right? The
innovative
semiconductor and
themes,
AI.
semiconductors, AI, everything, all of those, the bulk share of the large share of those companies are outside India, and even in India, whatever companies you have are very small in size and not so significant on the global scale. So again, to benefit out of this, one needs to look at global as an investment horizon.
Yes, and that is where the GiftCity comes into picture for
True.
Indian residents. Briefly, if you could share how Parag Parikh, the company or the asset management company, is placed there in GiftCity ecosystem. What is the structure, and then we can talk about the fund, the actual fund.
So I'll elaborate about the group first before getting into PPFAS gift. So Parag Parikh Financial Advisory Services has founded by Mr. Parag Parikh, has had a very long track record and history in India of
Yeah.
following value investing, as well as he was also a strong believer of global diversification. So the Parag Parikh Financial Advisory Services, we were amongst the first ones in India to start up PMS. Later on, after getting our mutual fund license, the PPFAS AMC, in its flagship scheme, the FlexiCap, they had always had a global exposure. Now, because of the RBI regulations, there was a capping of $7
$7
billion,
billion,
which
yeah,
was
which-
hit. Post which global diversification was not possible through FlexiCap, and that is where we have set up this entity, PPFS Gift, which is set up as a separate company in GiftCity itself, and is looking to offer global products for resident Indians, be it in the passive or the active space, so that they can diversify globally at their own
Yeah.
will, and also look at building a dollar denominated
Denominated
portfolio.
asset base. Yeah. So you mean to say the products that which are available there with Parag Parikh as of now in GiftCity are specifically for Indian residents, right?
At present, yes,
Okay.
specifically for Indian residents.
Specifically for Indian. Okay. Let's talk about Nasdaq 100, because the fund underline is Nasdaq 100. What exactly is Nasdaq 100 for the audience? And also, then you can brief us about the fund structure or the composition of the fund.
Sure. So Nasdaq 100 is a index that comprises of the top 100 non-financial companies in the Nasdaq index, on the Nasdaq exchange. All of these companies are at the forefront of technology and innovation. So everything that you could think of, semiconductors, cloud, the pharma, innovative pharma companies, and all of those are part of the Nasdaq 100 index. And so effectively, you can say that Nasdaq 100 gives you the innovation edge, if I may call so, which will enable you to participate in this fast growing themes and
Yes.
companies.
Yeah. So you mean that the composition consists of companies which are into, say, the new themes like AI, semiconductor, chips, etc. So the investor can have access to all these, can have the exposure to all these,
Yes.
the tech companies. Okay.
Plus, the other thing is Nasdaq, while it is the index is US, it is not just limited to US companies. Even non-US companies can be a part of the Nasdaq index, Nasdaq 100 index. And from a revenue perspective, if you look at the companies are fairly diversified across US and non-US geographies. So you're getting a US exposure in terms of the corporate governance and the standards, but from a revenue perspective, you're getting a very diversified global exposure.
Yes. So now investors, they have, you can say, platforms are available whereby they can directly invest into US stocks and they can buy US ETFs also. Why would they prefer UCITS or say ETFs via Parag Parikh fund? Is there any tax advantage to the investors by any chance?
Yes. So when you are investing directly in the US market through a brokerage platform or by any other mechanisms, you are exposed to two kind of taxes which are unique to US. One is the inheritance tax that comes in. And so if your exposure in US is significant enough, if something happens
About,
to
I
the
think, $60,000.
about $60,000. So if something happens to the investor, it gets into the complication of inheritance tax. Secondly, in US, there's no concept of accumulating ETFs or accumulating in shares. And the moment you get dividend, you will be exposed to withholding taxes on dividends in US. Now, those dividends through the double taxation avoidance treaty in India can be claimed back by filing Form 67 and all of those. But it is for a regular individual, it is a very complicated process. On the other hand, what this GiftCity funds offer is, it is fund level taxation. We have optimized for not just.
So you said it's a fund level taxation. That means the NAV of this fund will be net of all the taxes and net of all the expense ratio. Okay.
Effectively, fund level taxation, as you rightly pointed out, the taxes are paid by the fund. So whatever the NAV is, and you'll see two different NAVs. So there's a short-term post-tax NAV and there's a long-term post-tax NAV. The long-term post-tax NAV for the fund is something that is used for subscriptions as well as redemptions if your holding period is more than 2 years.
Okay.
The short-term post-tax NAV, on the other hand, is utilized for redemptions if you redeem within a 2-year period, and it will obviously be lower than the long-term post-tax NAV because the tax rates for short-term are as high as 42.74%.
Okay. And short-term, you mean below 24
Less
months?
than 24 months.
Less than 24 months. Okay. And what is the investment, the initial investment amount for this Nasdaq 100 fund of Parag Parikh?
So the initial investment is $5,000.
$5,000.
And then top-ups can be any amount more, at least $500 or any amount higher than that.
So it is well below than the 10 lakh rupees mark, which actually there's a 20% TCS is collected. TCS is collected about 10 lakhs. So $5,000 comes to around roughly 5 lakh rupees. So it is well below the 10 lakh rupees mark. So that's again a benefit for our clients who wants to utilize their LRS limit. And is there any lock-in period for this, or it is an open-ended fund?
No, there is no lock-in period. There is no entry or exit load as well.
Okay.
So it is open for investments and redemptions on a daily basis. But the ideal horizon for any equity product, not just this fund, should be at least 5 years. And we would like to tell investors that if you're coming in and if you're looking this to build your global portfolio and diversify your risk, then come in with a long-term horizon of at least more than 2 years, so that you don't get exposed to that very high short-term tax rate.
So I'm again repeating, it's an open-ended fund. Minimum investment is $5,000, which is again pocket-friendly. There is no lock-in period, so you can redeem your investments at any point of time. And tell me, Nirmal, how easy is the onboarding process?
So the onboarding process, when we started this, it was a physical process. But the idea was always that the target base that we are looking at are mutual fund investors in India. Today, mutual fund investors can, at the click of a button, buy funds in India. So why shouldn't that be the case in GiftCity? So we have tried to bring the onboarding process as close to mutual funds as possible. So there's a digital onboarding that is available through our website, and a folio can be opened in as soon as less than 10 minutes.
Okay.
And through, if your data on KYC, CKYC is there, it is a very seamless onboarding process. The document requirementation is also very simple. You just have to give your PAN, address proof, and the bank improvement.
Okay.
All that is required.
And how will be the fund transfer from the savings account of Indian investors to your account, right?
So I think that's a very good question, because LRS is a very different thing as compared to what we do in our daily life, the uh, RTGS or NEFT or UPI. So typically, see, the process that would be there for LRS, and I'm not talking about our fund, but general, is that you go to your bank, you fill a A2 form, and then tell your banker that I want to transfer this money. They'll give you the exchange rate, they'll give you all the expense around this, and after that the transfer happens to SWIFT mechanism. Now, how do we simplify this process and bring it again, as I said, in line with mutual fund investing in India? So we have tied up with a platform, a payment service provider, who through whom, if you have a HDFC, Axis, ICICI, or IDFC bank account, you'll get a payment link.
Okay.
And this payment link is generated on the fly once your folio is created, and you'll be able to pay by logging into your net banking directly through that payment link.
Okay.
There's the entire A2 form filling, LRS compliance, and everything is getting taken care of at the back. So it is as simple as doing online shopping through your net banking.
Okay. That's very interesting, because now payments are also digital in your case, and also the folio creation and the documentation easiness is also there with your funds.
Additionally, what we have done is, when one of the friction point that comes in, or additional cost that comes in, is when you go for a LRS transfer and the bank will charge you a markup. Now, for retail customers like you and me, typically the markup can tend to be as high as 1.5 to 2 rupees.
Yes.
Now, we have been able to, because of our group relationships, we have been able to negotiate with a few banks, and also the payment service provider has been able to negotiate it. So the markups have come down for various banks from 50 as low as 15 basis points to 60 to 80 basis points for most. So that also results in substantial cost saving for the investors.
Yeah, so that's again a differential advantage that the fund or Parag Parikh offers, that they have done tie-up with banks whereby the LRS FX spread reduces drastically to 15 to 20 basis points. It's again a saving for the investors. Okay. Who is the custodian of this here in the entire fund structure? Who is the custodian here?
So Kotak is the custodian. Kotak Mahindra Bank has a GiftCity branch which acts as the custodian for the fund.
And how easy is the redemption process? So it's again digital, whereby the client can email you, or just with a click of a button the client can redeem all his
so at present
units.
It is on email, and the fund has just started. It's been about a month or so we have not seen any redemptions, but the process is on email. But what we are looking to do is build an entire client portal on which client will not only be able to come in and do the onboarding or buying, but they'll continuously be able to see what their value of investments are, where are their investments, and get all the reports and everything. And from that same portal, they'll be also able to put in redemption requests. So that is coming in a few weeks down the line. And
so Nirmal, thank you for sharing all this information about your retail funds. One more question for you. Suppose any Indian company or an entity or a family office wants to invest into this fund, is it available for them? If yes, how they can access this fund?
I think great question, because this, when you look at the LRS limit, it is only $250,000 in India, and that is available only to resident Indian individuals. So non-individuals as well as large family offices, if they are looking to gain a build a large global portfolio, that is not possible through the LRS. So for that, there is something called OPI, which is overseas portfolio investment, which is allowed only in GiftCity based pool vehicles. So a company or a partnership, a registered partnership or a LLP can put in up to 50% of their net worth in GiftCity based funds.
Yeah.
So that this fund also provides a very good platform for such entities to come on board and build their global portfolio as well.
Thank you, Nirmalji, for sharing such a valuable insights on your fund, which is a Nasdaq 100 retail fund, which is there in Gift City for Indian investors. I'm sure this discussion has helped our audience to better understand the easiness and the importance of diversification, and how easy they can invest into this fund. So, if at all you have any questions on the on this particular fund, you can comment, and we will answer to all your queries as soon as possible. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.